Assalamu alaikum. If the main reason behind you studying Arabic was to understand Quran, what would be the best place to start? When you open the Quran, you'll see it is divided into surahs. Each surah is subdivided into ayat. Now, every single ayah of Quran is essentially made up of one or more Arabic sentences. Now, Arabic sentences are made up of course, Arabic words. So the best place to start would be to learn how the words are formed in the Arabic language and how they're put together to make sentences or phrases. So we're going to begin with a solid foundation in Arabic study by studying one of the parts of speech in Arabic called an ismun. So every ism in Arabic will have four properties: definiteness, gender, number, and Iraab. Without understanding these four properties, we cannot use an ism either in a sentence or a phrase, nor can we translate correctly from Quran. So let's begin by building a solid foundation with our understanding of the ism. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Welcome, Lisaan-ul-Qur'an, easier than English, our lesson number 1, the four properties of an ism. The key learning outcomes of this lesson is to introduce you to the ism and its four properties. In particular, take a closer look at Iraab, which is the classical feature of the Arabic language, and at the end form 18 words on the Muslim table, which will enable you to appreciate the four properties as well as learn word patterns, and so that you are able to recognize thousands of words in Quran and Hadith and immediately identify whether that word is masculine or feminine, whether that word is singular, dual or plural, or what is the Iraab of that particular word. So a lot to cover in our first lesson. So let's begin in Allah's blessed name. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the introductory session, we mentioned that in Arabic, there are only three types of words. Every word in the Quran, every word in the Hadith, every word in the Arabic language will either be a ismun, noun plus, fi'lun, verb, or harfun, particle. And we did a compare and contrast between English and Arabic. Fi'lun is very similar to English verbs. Harfun particles includes preposition, conjunction, and other things. Ismun is one of the most comprehensive set of words because it includes nouns, pronouns, adjective, adverbs. Therefore, we're going to call it noun plus. So we're going to begin by taking a closer look at the ismun. Inshallah ta'ala, we'll continue developing our knowledge on the other two as we go through the subject of ism. Ism singular, asma'un plural. Ism literally means name, but in grammar it has a specific definition. The noun plus the ism is a meaningful word, kalima, which conveys a meaning by itself and does not have a tense. It can be the name of a person, place, thing, an action, idea, emotion, feelings, etc., etc. In comparison to English grammar, it includes nouns, pronouns, adjective, adverbs, interjection, gerunds, etc., etc. In short, we can say an ism in Arabic is anything that does not fit the definition of a harf and does not fit the definition of a fi'lun. So ism is very comprehensive, and as a result, I called it noun plus. Also in the introductory session, I said to you that it is very easy to recognize, and there are three signs which are exclusive to an ism in the Arabic language. The first one being it can take al, which is the definite article. It can end with tanween, which is the an, in sound, the nanation sound, and it can also end with ta marbuta. And now it does not mean that every ism will end with these or begin with these. It means that only an ism can take these three signs. So let's look at some examples. We have on the first group here nouns. Nouns in English are not common noun and proper noun. So I got a mixture here for you. Hamidun, Hamid. Maryam, of course, name of persons. Makkah, name of a place. Al-Qalam, the pen, of course, the name of a thing. Kutubun, books, so lots of books, plural. Haqqun, truth. Ayatun, ayah of Quran. So you can see a mixture of words here for you to give as an example. Then we have pronouns. The pronouns are also included within the ism, and there are a few examples here for you. Huwa, he or she, hadha, this, and alladhina, those who. Of course, in English, there are different categories of pronouns. Adjectives are descriptive nouns. So we have kabirun, big, saghiratun, small, ba'idun, far away, qaribun, near. And then we have adverbs. Adverbs like qabla, before, ba'da, after, baina, between, inda, near, etc., etc. So you can see quite a mixture of words. Of course, we could have added a significant more in this list, but let's begin with a simple process. What I'd like you to note is there are some with tanween at the end, ta marbuta, and al. at the beginning. So you can see not every ism will have these, but these signs are exclusive. Whenever you see any of these three signs on a word, you can be 100% sure that it is an ism. The important thing about an ism is that you cannot use a single ism in a sentence or a phrase, nor translate it from Arabic to English, without understanding the four properties of an ism. This is actually very similar to the English language. In English, every noun that I put in front of you, as long as you know its meaning, you can tell me three things about it. You can tell me its definiteness, gender, and number. These three properties, English and Arabic share. We have this unique thing called Iraab, which we will look at later. But let's take an example with the English language. I have three words here for you. The first one is books. Now, when I say the word books, am I referring to a specific set of books, or is it common? Of course, you'll say, well, books could be any books. So that word in grammar, it will be said that that word is indefinite. It is not specific, so therefore it is indefinite. Whereas something like, for example, if I say Makkah, that will be definite. Why? Because it's the name of a specific thing. So definiteness is whether it is common, is called indefinite. Whether it's specific, it is called definite. Gender, now in English, we have, for example, he is a boy, she is a girl. Then I will say it is a pen. So we have a neutral gender. We have three. We have masculine, feminine, neutral. Books in English will be, of course, treated as neutral gender. And then we have number. In English, we have a single. So, for example, I can say a pen, which, for example, here, a pen, or I can say pens, which means two or more. So a word can be singular or plural in the English language, which is singular is one, plural is two or more. So when I say books, of course, it could be 2 books or 2 million books. So that is plural. If I say princess, now the word princess, is it specific or common? Of course, you'll say it could be any princess, so it will be indefinite. What about the gender? Is the word princess masculine, feminine, or neutral? I hope you say it will be feminine because it refers to females. Is the word princess singular or plural? It's singular. And then the word kings, the kings. Is that specific? You will say, of course, it is specific because it has a definite article in English. The kings. For example, the kings of Scotland. So that will be definite. What about its gender? You will say, of course, it is masculine because it refers to male persons. What about, is it singular or plural? Well, the letter S at the end gives it away for us there. The kings, so it will be plural. So you can see here we have three properties of any noun that I put in front of you. As long as you know its meaning in English, you can tell me. And you need to be able to do exactly the same thing in Arabic in order to start using them in sentences, phrases, and translating correctly. This will avoid you memorizing lots of things. As long as you know the rules, inshallah, you'll see how easy it is and how quickly you can fly in Arabic. So let's take a closer look at what mess I can make if I don't understand these three properties. Imagine you are my English teacher and I present these three sentences that I've created in English for you. Imagine you are my English teacher and I present these three sentences in English to you. Apart from panicking, you read the sentences and hopefully realize that I do not understand that the word he is masculine and the word headmistress is feminine, and how to link them together in the English language. I hope this is the area that you will see. And of course, the same mistake here. She should be used with feminine, and of course, headmaster is masculine. So a very simple mistake I've made in the English language. Why? Because I don't understand the property of the pronouns, and I don't understand the property of headmaster or headmistress in the English language, and I don't know how to put them together. Again, the third one is a bigger disaster. We have she, are, a boat. Of course, there are lots of mistakes here. Probably I don't know how to use is, am, or are in the English language. I don't realize that boat is a neutral gender, and the fact that I need to refer to as it is a boat. So again, those are lots of mistakes I'm making in the English language simply because I'm not familiar with the four properties, the three properties of a noun in the English language and how to bring them together. So in English, we see three things: definiteness, gender, and number. In Arabic, we see definiteness, gender, number, and Iraab. So in Arabic, every ism will have four properties. And we must understand these four properties in order to make any progress in the Arabic language. Definiteness. What do we mean when we say definiteness? It's simply whether that noun or ism is either referring to something specific or non-specific. So if I say village, town, city, country, continent, these are common nouns. Whereas if I say, for example, London, Makkah, or if I say Asia, these are proper nouns. So there in English, we have non-specific and specific. We have exactly the same in the Arabic language. In English also, we can take a common noun and make it specific. For example, I can say a pen, or I can say the pen. The pen is specific. A pen could be any pen. So we have the same thing in the Arabic language, almost identical. So let's take two words as our example. We're going to use the word Muslim as our template to begin learning Arabic. The word Muslim, Muslimun in Arabic means a Muslim. A Muslim. Al-Muslimu means the Muslim. So please note these two words down in your notebook and remember these two, inshallah, as your first foundation words. Inshallah, in lesson number 2, we will learn all the categories of isms in Arabic that are definite. Not only that, we're going to use that knowledge to start forming sentences and phrases in lesson number 2. Gender of an ism. So what do we mean by the gender of an ism? In English, we have words like boy, man, prince, etc., which are treated as masculine. Then we have words like girl, woman, headmistress, which are treated as feminine. Then we have lots of words. Overwhelming majority of the words, pen, mosque, school, etc., are treated as neutral gender. So for example, I'll say, it is a pen. I will not say he or she is a pen in the English language. In Arabic, you have no such luxury. Every word, every ism will either be masculine or feminine. There are no neutral gender in the Arabic language. Don't worry, in lesson number 3, inshallah ta'ala, I'm going to show you a simple plan, a simple roadmap that you can follow to immediately identify with high degree of precision whether that word should be treated as masculine or feminine in the Arabic language. Not only will you do that, but you'll use that knowledge in forming sentences and descriptive phrases. For now, just take a note of two words. So we have Muslimun actually means a male Muslim. So when I say Muslimun, I'm referring to a male Muslim. But when I say Muslimatun, I'm referring to a female Muslim. So Muslimun, a Muslim, Muslimatun, a female Muslim. So remember these two words as your example. One word masculine, the other one is feminine. Number of an ism. In English, we have the singular and we have the plural. In English, plural is 2 or more. In Arabic, there's slight difference in the sense that we have a singular, but we also have something called the dual, and we have the plural. Plural in Arabic is 3 or more. So an ism in Arabic can be singular, dual, or plural. We will look at the subject of number in a little bit more detail in lesson number 5. Using the Muslim word as our template, Muslimun means a male Muslim. Muslimani means 2 male Muslims. Muslimuna, 3 or more male Muslims. On the other hand, we have Muslimatun, which means 1 female Muslim. Muslimatani, 2 female Muslims, and Muslimatun, 3 or more female Muslims. So these 6 words, inshallah, will give you the idea of singular, dual, and plural, masculine and feminine. 2 of the properties of an ism. Of course, all these words are indefinite because they don't have the THE in front. So 3 properties illustrated for you here simply by using the Muslim word as our template example. So in conclusion of what we've studied so far, every ism in Arabic has 4 properties: definiteness, gender, number, and Iraab. As far as definiteness is concerned, we have 2 options. Either it is definite or indefinite. As far as gender is concerned, we have 2 options. Either it is masculine or feminine, no neutral gender. As far as number is concerned, we have the singular, we have the plural, which is 3 or more, and we also have the unique, which is dual. Iraab is the 4th property of an ism, which is unique, completely different for English-speaking students. So let's now take a closer look at what Iraab is. An introduction to Iraab, one of the 4 properties of an ism. What is Iraab? For English-speaking students, in reality, this is probably the most confusing part of Arabic study. Not because it's complicated, not because it's sophisticated, simply because there's nothing direct equivalent to it in the English language. Whenever you're faced with something new that's completely different than what you're used to, naturally it will lead to confusion. Iraab simply in Arabic means to Arabize. It is the classical feature of the Arabic language. It really tells us what that ism is doing in that sentence, the role, the function it is playing. How do you know the role that it is playing? Because an ism in the Arabic language, normally it will decline. i.e. it will change its ending to tell us or to indicate its role or function in the sentence. So let's begin by looking at three simple examples which we are very familiar with. First, we have here La ilaha illallahu Muhammadun Rasulullah. The second example, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. And the third example, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin. Now in the three examples I have Muhammadun, Muhammadan, Muhammadin. Of course, they're all referring to our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I'm sure you're familiar with the translation. The first one, there is nothing worthy of worship except Allah. Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. In the second example, I bear witness that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. In the third example, O Allah, send peace upon Muhammad. So we have Muhammadun, Muhammadan, Muhammadin. Peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. So you can see that now the word Muhammad is changing in three different ways, but the actual translation in English is the same. The name Muhammad does not change in English, but in Arabic, there is a change at the end. And this is called Iraab. So an ism, noun plus in Arabic, will decline. Let's take another example with the word Muhammad. We have Muslimun, Musliman, Muslimin. You can see an exact comparison between the two words. You can see the declension is exactly the same. So Muslimun ends with tanween, Musliman ends with tanween, Muslimin ends with tanween. So as if we were writing the word Muslim like this, Muslimun. Now tanween is essentially a nun sakin at the end. Okay, so we have Muslimun and we have Musliman and we have Muslimin. So you can see here as if I'm adding an N sound at the end by adding the tanween. So if I were to write it in English transliteration, I would say Muslimun, Musliman, Muslimin. Of course, if I took the N sound away, I'll be left with Muslimu, Muslima, Muslimi. This addition of the sound with tanween is called nanation. That is the meaning of the word tanween in the English grammar books. Nanation is adds an N sound at the end. So you can see three different endings to the word Muslim, three different endings to the word Muhammad, all of them changing or declining in three different ways. Take a few more examples of words. We have in the first one, Muslimatun, Muslimatan, Muslimatin. All of them actually mean a single female Muslim. Muslimun, Musliman, Muslimin means a male Muslim. Hamidun, Hamidan, Hamidin means Hamid. Kitabun, Kitaban, Kitabin means a book. Masjidun, Masjidan, Masjidin means a mosque. You will need to note in all of them, they decline in the same way. Then not only those, 85% of the words or isms in the Arabic language will decline in this way. So huge majority. We will deal with the 15% later. Let's concentrate on the 85%. One quick note here, you will note I've added an additional alif here in all the cases, and this is an important writing rule in Arabic, except for when you have ta marbuta, you will not add it. Otherwise, you will have to add an alif whenever you put two fatha tanween together. So you can see these examples here, inshallah ta'ala. We'll take three simple sentences to demonstrate the change in Iraab in the Arabic language, and I'd like you to remember these three sentences, inshallah, as we'll be using them to base our Arabic studies upon. The first sentence is Ja'a Muslimun. Translation, a Muslim came. Second sentence, Ra'aytu Musliman. I saw a Muslim. Third sentence, Sallamtu ala Muslimin. I gave salam to a Muslim. In all these three sentences, you will note I've used the word Muslim, but their endings have changed in the Arabic language. Whereas in the English examples, I'm saying a Muslim came, I saw a Muslim, I gave salam to a Muslim. There is no change to the word in English, but in Arabic, I must use the correct ending in the correct place in those sentences, otherwise the sentence will not make sense. In all the sciences we tend to study, everything has a definition and a name. Now, when we have the word Muslimun, ends with Muslimun, this ending, the name is given that this is the Rafa status. So it said that the word Muslim is in the Rafa status. The word Musliman, when it ends with an, this is said to be in the Nasab status. So this is the name given in Arabic grammar. And Muslimin is your jar status. So rafa, an nasab, in jar. Please note when I had the word al, which is the definite article, the tanween disappeared, so I'm left with al-muslimu, muslimun becoming al-muslimu, musliman becoming al-muslima, and muslimin becoming al-muslimi. So ending of u, an, a, in, e. These are the three endings, and these are the names given to them: rafa, nasab, or jar. So these are the options as far as Iraab is concerned. You have three options. Either it will be rafa, nasab, or jar. Similar to when we saw the other properties, either it is definite or indefinite, either it is masculine or feminine, either it is singular, dual, or plural. As far as Iraab is concerned, it will be either rafa, nasab, or jar for any ism in the Arabic language. Now, in English grammar books for Arabic students, you will find the name nominative, accusative, and genitive. Now, my personal view is these names or these terminologies are very confusing. Number one reason, overwhelming majority of English speakers have never ever used these terminologies. Only those who are fortunate to have studied advanced level or may have studied other languages will come across this topic of nominative, accusative, or genitive. Most English speakers have no idea, and exactly I was in the same boat. I had no idea what they meant. And when I first started learning Arabic, I looked at these words, their definition, and they confused the life out of me because there was nothing similar to what I've come across. I looked at nominative, accusative in English and other grammar books. In fact, I was left with even more confusion. It was only after I've learned the Arabic terminology that I understood what they were talking about and what they were referring to. In all honesty, these terminology will confuse you. So I'm not going to be using them in this course. So I'm not going to be translating rafa, nasab, or jar. What I'm going to be doing is showing you how it works. One of my students mentioned that he read, for example, nominative is like a human being smiling, frowning, or is angry. Those are the three different states, same human being. Again, those are good. They might help you, but they're not what Iraab is. Iraab is the role, the function that ism is playing. So we'll avoid those terminologies and we'll go straight to understanding how Iraab works in the Arabic language. And inshallah, through practice, this will stick. Now, this is the most important topic, and therefore it needs to be dealt with understanding and practical experience as opposed to lots of theory and terminology. So let's continue with what Iraab is. Now, do we have anything similar to Iraab in the English language where words change in order to reflect the role or the status? There is a similarity. Now, imagine you are my English teacher again, and I presented the following to you. His came to me, I gave him result. What if you read this from me? Now, of course, you would be very angry, upset, probably banging your head against the wall that you took me on as a student. But nonetheless, have a look at my English. His came to me, I gave him result. Now, I'm talking about the same person. It could be Hamid or somebody else. I'm talking about the same person. What does the word his, he, or him mean in English? How do you explain those three words? And why is it wrong here? I know it's wrong. It should be he came to me. I gave him his result. That is correct. Yes, I accept. But why was the previous ones wrong? What's wrong with it? You see what's really happening here. The sentence here, this part, is requiring a subject. So I can put here Hamid came to me, Peter came to me, John came to me, Helen came to me. Any name, a subject is required. Now in the second one here, I'm looking for an object. And him is the object pronoun. So I gave him, I gave Hamid, an object is required. So there is an object pronoun needs to go here, and therefore it is wrong to say he in this box. Here I'm looking for a possessive. Therefore he or him would be wrong here. I have to say his result. So the pronouns in English need to change in order to reflect the role that they're playing in the sentence. So we have this thing with pronouns in English, which we don't have with nouns in general. So let's look at the examples in English. I've only given you 3 types of pronouns. I believe the number of pronouns types in English is about 8 or 10, but we're only going to show you 3 here. We have he, him, or his. So he is the subject pronoun. Him is the object. And his possessive or adjective pronouns. If I use the wrong one in the wrong place in an English sentence, I will make a mess. And therefore, it is very important I understand which pronoun is subjective, which one is object, and which one is possessive. Unfortunately, in Arabic, this is the case with every noun. We have to know the ending correct and use it in the right place with the correct ending, otherwise we'll end up with a mess that I showed you earlier. So we're going to illustrate Iraab with a noun called Hamid as a name of a person. Hamid particularly, we're going to tell you about, he is a genius. He likes to invent things. So one day out of boredom, he goes to and collects some scrap parts together, and he sits there to build his own car. A noble cause. He wants to build this car to drive to the mosque with. So it's a dedicated car he's building to drive to the mosque. As he's building it, his grandfather comes along, looks at Hamid building this car, and he says to Hamid, look, your fuel tank is too small. It's not going to get you to the mosque. Now, he is a genius. He's not going to listen to his granddad. So he continues building because he's done all the calculations. Lo and behold, we'll pick up the story from there. He's now got his car ready, and he's now ready to go to the mosque. And he's driving to the mosque. So we'll begin the story there. Hamid was driving to the mosque. Just as his grandfather warned him, Hamid's car ran out of fuel. His grandfather was also driving to go to the mosque. He saw Hamid stranded. His grandfather gave him a lift. So granddad gave him a lift. So in the story, if you look at the sentences here, now which pronoun will I put instead of Hamid? In the first one, I'll have to say he was driving to the mosque. His car ran out of fuel. Granddad gave him a lift. Why? Because in the first sentence, this is the doer of the act of driving. I hope this is clear to you. Who was driving? Hamid or he? Okay, whose car ran out of fuel? Hamid's or his? So again, this is the possessive version. Possessive version. And the same way, granddad gave him a lift. So here he is the object version. Hamid is the object version, or him is the object version. Granddad, of course, would be the doer in this sentence. I hope this is clear. Who's doing the act? Who's possessing? Who's the object? Who's receiving the act? These are the three roles that Hamid is playing in these three sentences. So Hamid is the same person, same genius, but the word Hamid is playing three different roles in these three sentences. So if you can understand that concept, this is Iraab. So let's look at it one more time. He was driving to the mosque. His car ran out of fuel. Granddad gave him a lift. So if you wanted to do this in Arabic, let's look at the word Hamid. Now, Hamid declines exactly the same way as the word Muslim. Hamidun, Hamidan, Hamidin. Muslimun, Musliman, Muslimin. When do I use the word Hamidun? When it is the doer of a sentence or a doer of a verb in particular. When do I use Hamidan? When it is the object. When it is the object of a verb. When do I use the Hamidin version? When it is the possessor. So we got three different endings of Hamid. Now in the sentence here, which Hamid version in Arabic will I use? Just concentrate on the word Hamid. Don't worry about the rest of the sentence. So in the first one, he's the doer. Second one, he's the possessor. And the third one is the object. So in the first one, I will say Hamidun, Hamidin. And the third one, Hamidan, because it is the object. Exactly the same was he, him, or his. If I put them the wrong way around, in Arabic, if I change the order of the nouns ending, I will make a complete mess in the sentence. It is Hamidun that is telling me in the first sentence, the role of Hamid, the word Hamid, is that of a doer. Hamidin is telling me the role of the word Hamid in this sentence is the possessor, and Hamidan is telling me the role of the word Hamid in the sentence is object. This is the secret to Iraab. If you can understand how the role and the function of an ism works in the sentence, you will be able to fly through the subject of Iraab. So please note, it is the role, the function the word Hamid is playing in the sentence. We do the same thing in English with a noun, or we do it with a pronoun. In the pronoun, we have to change. With the noun, we don't. So how do you know in the English language who's doing what? Let's again take a simple example. This time, Zaid. Zaid ate the mango. Zaid ate the mango. I hope it's not difficult for you to work out that ate is a verb. Mango is the object, as in that which was eaten. And who's doing the eating? Well, Zaid. So Zaid is the doer. What did he do? He ate. What did he eat? The object is the mango. Now in English, if I change the word order around, I end up with the mango ate Zaid. The mango ate Zaid. Now in this case, the mango is the doer of the action. The action is to eat, or ate in the past tense, and Zaid is the object. I hope this is clear to you. So by changing the word order around in English, I achieve the similar thing as I do in the Arabic language. But in Arabic, it is the word ending that will tell me who's doing what, not the order of the words. So in English, it is the word order. In Arabic, it is the ending of the word that will tell me who's doing what. So again, the example we have here, subject, mango, or the doer, verb, and then we have the object. This is the difference between Arabic and English. In English, word order. In Arabic, the ending on the word, the declension, which tells us who's doing what. Now, you may argue that my sentence is incorrect. The mango ate Zaid doesn't make any sense in the English language. My argument would be, grammatically speaking, it is correct. You might tell me that the mangoes don't eat people, but you don't know. You haven't traveled the entire world. There could be some remote island where people are being chased by giant mangoes. We don't know, but my sentence is correct. Why? It is the word order in the English language that will tell me who is doing what. So let's take a look at now the Arabic sentences in closer detail. So we have now 3 sentences here in Arabic. I hope you can see in all cases the word nasara is in red, so that's your verb. Hamidun and Zaidan I have. Hamidun and Zaidan are your ism. Okay, why? Because it's got tanween. Only an ism can have tanween. So we have 2 nouns, an ism, a noun plus, and we have 1 verb in all the 3 sentences. I hope the other thing you recognize, the word order is jumbled up. The third thing I hope you can recognize, in all the cases, I have Hamidun. On the other hand, I have Zaidan. So you can very easily see the endings of the word is the same. The 2 noun plus is exactly the same. The order is different. Now, Hamidun is my doer because it's got dun at the end, and an is my object. So the verb is to helped in the past tense. So this is your verb. How will I translate that? All the 3 sentences in Arabic will be translated exactly the same in English. Hamid helped Zaid. Even though the word order is completely different in Arabic, the translation in English will be exactly the same. Of course, there are subtle differences in the word order. We're not going there at the moment, but the main principle is it is not the word order that is telling us who's doing what in the sentence. In Arabic, it is the ending. So I will translate all these 3, and I could have put more examples up for you. 5, 6 is quite easy to do with different word order, all of them meaning the same. In English, it is the word order. In Arabic, it is the declension, the changing at the end of the word that tells me who's doing what in a sentence. Therefore, Iraab will remove confusion. We can understand the sentence or the meaning of the sentence correctly. In order to remember what Iraab is and to illustrate how it is used in a sentence, and not only that, to give you a simple reference point, I would like you to remember the following 3 sentences. Please write the Arabic along with the English translation. The first one is Ja'a Muslimun. A Muslim came. The second, Ra'aytu Musliman. I saw a Muslim. Third one, Sallamtu ala Muslimin. I gave salam to a Muslim, or I greeted a Muslim. Now, in these 3 sentences, the word Muslim is being translated in English Muslimun, a Muslim, Musliman, a Muslim, Muslimin, a Muslim. So Iraab cannot be translated directly from Arabic to English. It is only telling me the role, the function that ism is doing in the sentence. So in the first one, I have a Muslim came. So the word Muslim here is now doing the role of a doer. Same word. Here, the doer is I. Who saw? I saw. So I'm the doer. Okay, who did I see? A Muslim. So this is the object. In the third example, I have slightly different here. I gave salam to a Muslim, or I greeted a Muslim, is coming after the word ala. So it is Muslimin, and I'm again translating as a Muslim because it's coming after the word ala. So in all 3 examples in the English sentences, a Muslim, a Muslim, a Muslim. But in Arabic, Muslimun, Musliman, and Muslimin to reflect the role, the function that ism is playing in the sentence. So in the first one, Muslimun is doer. In the second one, it is an object. And in the third one, it is coming after a preposition like ala. So this is what I would like you to remember. Muslimun when it is doer, Musliman when it is object, and Muslimin when it's coming after a word like ala, a preposition. Anytime it comes after a preposition, it will be a Muslimin. These are the three that I like you to remember to illustrate Iraab. Inshallah, I'll be using these three sentences. Ja'a Muslimun, a Muslim came. Ra'aytu Musliman, I saw a Muslim. Sallamtu ala Muslimin, I greeted a Muslim or I gave salam to a Muslim. Throughout the course as a template to form many, many sentences in Arabic. Let me demonstrate how easy it is. Let's take another word. Instead of Muslim, I give you the word Muallim. Muallim means teacher. I want to say a teacher came. I would say Ja'a Muallimun, I saw a teacher. Ra'aytu Mualliman, I gave salam to a teacher. Sallamtu ala Muallimin. Very easy. This is how Iraab works. Not only that, you can do this yourself. We can do that with many, many other words, many, many other isms you can put in the place. For example, instead of saying a teacher came, I want to say a boy came. Ja'a waladun, I saw a boy. Ra'aytu waladan, I gave salam to a boy. Sallamtu ala waladin. If I want to say a man instead, I could say Ja'a rajulun, a man came. Ra'aytu rajulan, I saw a man. And I gave salam to a man. Sallamtu ala rajulin. And we can change the word imam, sheikh, whatever, and we can start forming sentences. So the structure of the sentences in Arabic is relatively easy to understand once you've got your head around the four properties. We're just beginning. So I hope inshallah ta'ala you can now see the power of this. It's just the property of Iraab and how it changes. Please remember the template sentence. A Muslim came, I saw a Muslim, I gave salam to a Muslim. In our introductory session, we mentioned that there are only two types of sentences essentially in the Arabic language. One that begins with an ism called Jumla Ismiya, nominal sentence, and the other that begins with a verb, fi'lun, called verbal sentence or Jumla Fi'liya. Jumla Ismiya example, Hamid is a teacher, Hamidun Muallimun. Now, even from our initial discussion, I hope you realize that the sentence has two parts, subject and predicate. That's fine. But both of the parts, Hamidun and Muallimun, are in the Rafa status. I hope that is clear for you to see from the example of Muslimun, Hamidun, Muallimun, both in the Rafa status. As far as Jumla Fi'liya is concerned, verbal sentence, we have three. We have the verb itself, and we have the doer, and we have the object. Hamid helped Zaid. Nasara Hamidun Zaidan. Again, you've seen many examples of this already. So we have three parts, the verb, the doer, and the object. So again, note these three parts of the sentence. Now both the subject and the predicate is in the Rafa status. And in the verbal sentence, we have the doer is in the Rafa status and the object in the Nasab status. So you can see the roles that they are playing in those two different sentence structure. The Arabic sentence structure is relatively very easy to get mastery of at a basic level, inshallah, as long as you can get your head around the four properties. So please note these two examples of the sentences along with the examples I've already given you. Alhamdulillah, we have an overview of Iraab. Let us just summarize our discussion that we've had so far. Now, we have an Iraab can only be one of three: Rafa, Nasab, or Jar. Every ism in the Arabic language will be in the Rafa status, Nasab status, or Jar status. Now, what we have in the first example is Muslimun. So, un or u will mean it is in the Rafa status for 85% of the type words. Musliman, an or a will be in the Nasab status. Musliman is your example. Muslimin, in or e will be the Jar status. So when you see for 85% of the words, Muslimun, similar to ending as Muslimun, it is Rafa. Musliman, it is Nasab. Muslimin, it is Jar. These are the three Iraab. Now, when is it Rafa? Well, we've seen the example before, when it is the doer of a verb, or in a nominal sentence, what is the subject or the predicate. So we've got three reasons, grammatical reasons, for an ism to be in the Rafa status. As far as Nasab is concerned, so far, we've only got one reason, when it is the object. And for Jar, we have one example when it is after preposition like ala, Sallamtu ala Muslimin. I gave salam to a Muslim. Or in possessive example, we've seen briefly, on that. And that's really it. This table summarizes your entire discussion on Iraab and all that you need to know to start building a solid foundation in Arabic. So you have 4 properties you have to look at. The Iraab is the most important one, and please note is going to be studied in detail throughout this course or any course that you do for Quranic Arabic. And inshallah, you can use this table, make a copy of it, rewrite it, inshallah, do a better design if you want to, which will illustrate for you the subject of Iraab. Alhamdulillah, we are now at a point where we can summarize all that we have discussed regarding the 4 properties. Every ism in the Arabic language will have 4 properties: definiteness, gender, number, and Iraab. Please note, definiteness, gender, and number, we have some similarities with English. Iraab is unique. As far as definiteness is concerned, an ism will either be definite or indefinite, i.e. specific or non-specific. Inshallah, lesson number 2, we will discuss this in more detail. As far as gender of an ism is concerned, it will be either masculine or feminine. There is no neutral gender in the Arabic language. So please note, no neutral gender, masculine or feminine. And inshallah, lesson number 3, we will find out how to identify the grammatical gender of an ism, whether it should be masculine or feminine. As far as number is concerned, we have slight differences between Arabic and English. We have a singular, we have a dual, and a plural. Singular is for 1, dual is for 2. Plural in Arabic is 3 or more. As far as Iraab is concerned, every ism in the Arabic language will be in one of 3 statuses: Rafa, Nasab, or Jar. How do I recognize? For 85% is very easy. Rafa is Muslimun, Nasab is Musliman, and Jar is Muslimin. So in order to learn, the quickest way to learn the 4 properties of an ism is really to use the Muslim table. And let me introduce this table to you. This is going to play a significant role in helping you learn hundreds and thousands of words in the Arabic language. Simply put it into this table and you'll be able to make 18 words. Let's start off with the word Muslim. Muslim, Muslimun in Arabic means a single male Muslim in the Rafa status. So Muslimun in Arabic means a Muslim male person in the Rafa status. Musliman is in the Nasab status. Muslimin is in the Jar status. These are your 85%, they follow that pattern. Muslimun, Musliman, Muslimin. All 3 mean a Muslim, but in 3 different status. Muslimani, now these are duals. Duals don't follow the 85% pattern, they have a different pattern. So let's learn those. Muslimani, for 2 male Muslims in the Rafa status. Muslimaini is 2 male Muslims in Nasab, and Muslimaini, 2 male Muslims in Jar. Again, note, Nasab and Jar is exactly the same for duals. Muslimuna is 3 or more Muslims in the Rafa status, and Muslimina is 3 or more Muslims in the Nasab status, and Muslimina is 3 or more Muslims in the Jar status. So you have now 9 words, all from the word Muslim. Let's do the feminine now. Muslimatun is the Rafa status, single female Muslim. Muslimatan, Nasab. Muslimatin, Jar. They follow the 85% pattern. The duals don't. So the dual for feminine is Muslimatani for Rafa, Muslimataini for Nasab, and Muslimataini for Jar. So Nasab and Jar is the same. For plurals again, we have another pattern. So we have Muslimatun for Rafa, Muslimatin for Nasab, and Muslimatin for Jar. So again, you note 18 words, all from the word Muslim, illustrating singular, dual, and plural in the 3 rows, and illustrating Rafa, Nasab, and Jar in the 3 columns. 1 set for masculine, 1 set for feminine. We have 18 words. Please take time to memorize these 18 words. We're going to study them in detail in lesson number 3, lesson number 4, lesson number 5, and in every lesson afterwards, all the 4 properties of an ism will play some role one way or the other in particular Iraab. So let's read the whole table out for you so you can inshallah note them down, rewrite them and memorize them. Muslimun, Musliman, Muslimin. Muslimani, Muslimaini, Muslimaini. Muslimuna, Muslimina, Muslimina. Muslimatun, Muslimatan, Muslimatin. Muslimatani, Muslimataini, Muslimataini. Muslimatun, Muslimatin, muslimatin. 18 words, all developed from the word Muslim. Inshallah ta'ala, your template for learning hundreds and thousands of words in Arabic. Alhamdulillah, you've reached the end of the lesson. All you need to do is get yourself ready for the subject of definiteness. Inshallah, I'm going to upload a short video, which will be a practical session for lesson number 1, just to get you to practice what you've learned. So please do take part in that lesson so you can start learning the main elements, the key components of this lesson, the learning lesson outcomes, inshallah. So I will see you at the next lesson, which will be definiteness. Not only will you learn the second property, definiteness, but you'll be able to use the knowledge of Iraab and definiteness combined together to start forming your first set of sentences in Arabic, as well as your descriptive phrase, all from lesson number 2. Not only that, inshallah, we'll start translating some Quranic text as well to show you how easy it is for you to develop a solid foundation in Arabic, inshallah. So I look forward to seeing you at the next lesson. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Brothers, Jazakumullah khairan for taking part in the program. I hope and pray that you found it beneficial. I hope and pray, inshallah ta'ala, that the lessons that you are learning is going to build you a solid foundation in your Arabic studies, and inshallah, and you'll see the fruit of it throughout the rest of your life as you begin to appreciate more and more of the Quran. Again, may Allah reward you, bless you. If there is anything we can do to improve our lessons, please do let us know. If there are any errors in particular, please do address them to us, and we will try to change or improve them in our next versions, inshallah ta'ala. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to forgive any of our mistakes. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to reward you all abundantly for your intention and your desire to learn Quranic Arabic. And I make dua Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala open all of our hearts towards the Quran and makes us of those people who study the Quran, who begin to appreciate it, who begin to learn it, who begin to follow it in this dunya, and may the Quran become our companion in the hereafter. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.